the Sanderson Collector, and I am back from Dragonsteel 2022, where I had an absolutely amazing time, and today I am going to show you the haul of all the awesome stuff I got while I was there, as well as talking about what I did at the convention. I'm sorry that I was not able to get a video out before the convention about everything that was going to go on. I ended up with a massive headache the week before the convention, and then when I was heading off to the convention, I lost my voice. I'm still recovering from that, but I'm doing much better, and so it's time to get back into doing videos. I really hope I can keep to a weekly schedule now, because I have a lot of exciting videos that I want to do. I promise I will get my 1,000 subscriber giveaway done in December, so be on the lookout for that. So what is Dragonsteel, the convention? It is Brandon's now annual convention that he hosts in Utah, centered around the release of one of his books, but it's so much more than just the release party for his book. It's a 2-day convention with panels, events, vendors, activities, the book release, all kinds of exciting people to see and things to do over those 2 days. This year, the convention was centered around the release of The Lost Metal, which is the last book in the Wax and Wayne series, and it was on November 14th and 15th. Everything was Mistborn themed this year because The Lost Metal. We, as the Sanderson Collectors Guild, had a booth in the vendors hall this year, and we sold signed copies of The Emperor's Soul 10th Anniversary Edition. We sold a pile of rare books. We did road art covering for your books. We sold poster tubes. We sold geekograph bookmarks. We sold Crafty Games books and games, and just in general dispensed collecting advice. We also debuted our new logo, which we designed just before the convention. We had bookmarks with the logo, and we also had signings. Isaac Stewart and Ben McSweeney both came by and stayed at our booth for over an hour doing signings for people, and they absolutely loved the experience as well, and I am so happy that they were able to come by and give us their time. Other authors around the vendors hall included Darcy Cole, Lindsay Luther, Jancy Patterson and Megan Walker, Brian McClellan, Dan Wells, and many more. And there were other vendors of various swag and book items, including Badali Jewelry, Shire Post Mint, King's Wild Gaming, Brotherwise Games. It was a big, packed vendor hall, and I really hope there's more room in the vendor hall next year, because things did get a bit crowded with all the people who were there. They sold 5,000 tickets for this year's convention and sold out of almost all of them. Outside of the vendors hall, there were a ton of panels. Brandon was on a few. A lot of his team did panels. Other authors did panels. Artists did panels. Howard Lyon was there. Brian Mark Taylor was there. Miranda Meeks was there. Haley Lazo was there. Around the whole convention, there were scavenger hunts and quests to earn various Mistborn coins that could be exchanged for prizes. People had a lot of fun doing that. And of course, the big event for the convention was The Lost Metal's release. And the way this worked is Monday morning, you lined up to get your number. The line was supposed to start at 4 a.m. People were lining up as early as midnight out in the freezing cold to get their numbers, and whoever shows up first to get their number gets the first wristband, as you can see here. People took their wristbands, went about the convention for the day, and that night at 10 p.m. Utah time, which was midnight Eastern time, was the official release of the book. People could come in and get their books from the convention hall. Picking up your book, you were not required to be in the same order that you were in for getting your wristband. That just determined which number book you got. After the book was handed out, that was the end of the day. Tuesday evening, which is the official release day for the book, Brandon got up on stage and did a speech, a Q&A, all the normal stuff he does for a release party. He did it in an auditorium with about 5,500 seats, and basically every single seat was full. It was a crazy huge crowd. I loved it. And after Brandon did his speech, he had a signing line with a maximum of 300 people that still went from about 10 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. Personally, I did not attend a single panel at the convention. I spent the entire time at the Sanderson Collectors Guild booth, selling books, talking about collecting as much as I could when I lost my voice, and just in general, meeting other fellow fans, collectors, and awesome people, and having an absolute blast. I was suffering most of the time from a lingering headache, plus not having a voice, but I decided I would be happier suffering at Brandon's convention than I would be suffering on the couch at home. So I went anyway, and I am so glad that I did. While at the booth, I got to sit next to Ben McSweeney and Isaac Stewart while they were doing their signings, help out with the signing lines, and I absolutely loved the chance to get to sit and chat with them and help make sure the signings went smoothly. I also got to hang out with basically the entire Collectors Guild. Some of them were at the same hotel with me, and they were all around the booth at various times, and they all took care of me because I was a little bit out of it, and I appreciate all of you so much. Y'all were the ones who really made it an amazing experience for me, and I was so glad to see so many people there who I knew or who knew me, get to know people in person. I had friends there that I'd never met from as far as Australia. My friend Murph came and gave me some new shelf friends with my Mistborn koalas here, and some really awesome Australian snacks, and just so nice to be able to see everyone and put faces to names and just get to know you all. In addition to Ben and Isaac at the booth, I got to chat with many of my friends from Dragonsteel and get to know some of the new hires at Dragonsteel as well. That was an absolute blast. I am always happy to get to hang out with Brandon's awesome team of people. I also got to see and hang out with several other beta readers. Normally I only get to see those people at JordanCon once a year. Getting to see some of them twice and getting to see some of the people who didn't make it to JordanCon this year was so nice. I am very, very happy that I got to see so many of my beta reader friends there as well. I was very blessed because a friend of mine who was a beta reader and a Collectors Guild member was able to get me into the signing line because he got a ticket and I was his +1. And I'm very happy that I had a chance to see Brandon, chat with him, and get my books signed. On Tuesday evening, I dressed up as Axes the Collector because it's me, I'm the collector. I'm Axes the Collector. And even though I was mistaken for a Koloss and an Honor Sprint, Brandon, why do you write so many blue people in your books? It was a really, really fun experience, and I always enjoy cosplaying and being around a bunch of other people who cosplay as well. There were several people who came up to me who said, "Hey, I've watched you on YouTube, you're super cool, it's nice to see you in person," and that just really, really was the icing on the cake for me. The fact that people have enjoyed watching these videos, have enjoyed learning about the books and collecting, and come up to me as someone they recognize at a convention and tell me this. It just makes me so happy and so energized and excited to keep making these videos for everyone out there. So, the books that I got at the convention. I got The Emperor's Soul from our booth, and all of these came signed. So I have a signed 10th anniversary Emperor's Soul to put on my shelf. Coming via another person from Spain, I got a old copy of The Way of Kings in Spanish, which is apparently incredibly cringeworthy for its bad translations, and I'm delighted to have such a horrendous book to put on my shelves. At the BYU bookstore booth, I discovered there is now a 4th spine design for The Way of Kings in mass market paperback. And of course I had to go ahead and grab one because I want all the mismatched spines. Tor, get your act together. On my shelf, I grabbed a number of books from other authors who were there, but those have gone on my reading shelves in the other room. I would like to give a special thank you to Darcy and Jancy, who both found misprinted books while they were selling their books and were like, "Oh, well, I can't really sell you a misprinted book. Mark would like this," and came over to my booth where I was doing Collectors Guild stuff and were like, "Hey, this book got printed upside down. Would you like it?" And the fact that people know me as the misprint guy and come over to give me these things is just so cool. because I got to go through Brandon's signing line, I got a number of books countersigned, which I will go over in another video. Those are awesome and hilarious and definitely deserve a video of their own. I also was able to pick up 4 pins: the Lightweaver Foundation pin, the 17th Shard pin, the Release Party pin, which is the Mayor Will flower, and the Convention pin, which is the Dragonsteel 2022 logo, which I also got on a very cool shirt here. In addition to the Mayor Will pin, there's a deck of cards designed by Ben McSweeney with some really awesome art on them. I might do a video about those at some point in the future. And last but not least, I got my copy of The Lost Metal, signed, lined, numbered, and dated. And because I wasn't feeling well, I didn't go stand out in the cold, but thanks to a couple of friends of mine, notably Lexi and Murph, I was able to get a numbered edition, number 70, which is such a good number. And as you can see, it's signed, lined, numbered, and dated. And I am delighted to have this book and have it on my shelf. So there is my haul for Dragonsteel 2022. I went with at least 10 books that I was selling or giving away to other people, and I was expecting my luggage to be lighter on the way home than it was on the way there, and it was not at all. I ended up with so many books, so much awesome stuff. I loved it, and if you have the chance to go next year, it will be November 20th and 21st for the release of Defiant. Should be a lot of fun. And if you need a little longer to plan, in 2024, Dragonsteel will be the release of Stormlight 5. It should be twice as big, if not bigger, than this year, and it will be such a bonanza of awesomeness. I highly encourage you to see if you can save up and get to Utah for these conventions if you didn't make it this year. So many awesome people. Everyone who was there told me they had a good time, whether they were an attendee or a vendor or Brandon himself. And that's going to be everything from me for this week. If you want to catch future videos, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. If you enjoyed this one, leave me a like. If you made it to Dragonsteel, leave me a comment letting me know what your favorite part of the convention was. And if you didn't make it, leave me another comment letting me know if you're going to make it in the future and when you think you're going to be able to make it, because you really should. And I will be back next week with another video about Brandon Sanderson collecting. And until then, happy collecting.